Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is the horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Libra, we have the Lovers for our card tonight. Now, you might be thinking, hey, I don't want to hear about anything romantic. That's not what I'm here for. Now, it doesn't have to be a romantic love, although it could be. We'll have to take a look and see. But the Lovers really do kind of represent the unification of, well, sometimes opposites, but also just kind of really solidifying a dynamic, okay? All right, let's take a look and see what the tea leaves are going to show us. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to hit that like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. For sure, for sure. So immediately I'm seeing we have a big bowl of soup. I'm imagining it's soup because that is where my brain went. We have the bowl here. We have maybe like a little table beneath. We have a person standing here. You can see the head up here. Here are the eyes, the nose, the mouth. The arm kind of reached out and maybe dropping something into the pot. We also have it looks like a fish. Okay, now we have another person standing over here kind of watching the pot as well. So I'm looking at this and I'm feeling like, yeah, you are maybe quite literally making soup. You could be even eating soup right at this moment. But I do feel like it's more of a symbolic thing in that, yeah, you have something cooking, right? You're working on something. You're putting your all into this thing. And I think that you also have help, okay? I think that you have somebody, maybe your spouse or your good friend or your partner. Maybe you have done these hobbies or passion projects. Maybe this is at work. It could be somebody that you are in business with or is a coworker. Whoever it is, whatever is going on here, I feel like there is really a camaraderie and just kind of a joy in the process, right? I don't feel like there's a huge urgency, although of course you want to get whatever you're doing finished, right? I think that the whole experience of this creation, of this innovation, of this, what should I mean, it feels, it's like something, well, because it's the soup, and if we think about soup, I don't know if you cook. I do. I cook a lot. And I love making soup. Soup is actually maybe my favorite because it is such intensive process. It's not necessarily hard, but there's a lot that goes into making soup from scratch, okay? And you build it. You build it from the bottom up, right? Like most things. But it takes a lot of intuition. It takes a love. It takes a willingness to stand and tinker and adjust and taste and also, yeah, explore different flavors and herbs and learn, how do we put these in combination? How does it all come together? So I feel like whatever it is that you're working on, if it's not actually soup, right? I feel like you are drawing upon a variety of parts of your life, different sectors of your being, right? And so all of the little bits of knowledge and then wisdom that you have cultivated all come together in this kind of composite thing that you are, and I feel like almost kind of babying it along. And I feel like this is when you are in this place, when you are focused and you are doing something that is meaningful to you, that, it maybe even is kind of enthralling, all consuming, maybe even a bit of an obsession. It really, well, look, it feels good. Right? I don't know about you, but when I'm in it, when I'm in that place, that flow state, I am going to bed thinking about whatever I'm working on. I'm dreaming about it. I'm waking up. The first thing I'm thinking about is, hey, this is what, I'm going to be trying to accomplish today. Or I maybe had like a little snafu with some part of it, and I'm trying to figure out how to work that out. And I think that this is kind of where you're at, and it feels good because I feel like the last few readings there's not been anything very devastating, but a sense of feeling kind of like you're just going through the motions, that life is just kind of dull a little bit. Not bad necessarily, not intolerable by any means, but I think just kind of neither here nor there, right? It's kind of lukewarm. And so, I think that this is the thing that you have been needing. This place where you kind of find refuge in staying busy and having something to, plan and problem solve and work out all the little things, adjustments and so on. So I see this being a really productive period of time for you, for sure. Now, I want to look up here. We also have a person who is kind of standing here. And it looks like standing on a star. Here's the body and the head of the person. And looking up, kind of gazing really. I'm sorry, I don't mean to yawn. It's been a long few days. We had so much Halloween going on the last few days. My daughter, I think probably we went to like 6 or 7 different activities over the last week or so. And I'll tell you what, I love Halloween, and obviously like around here, it's always a little bit strange and macabre, and we live close to the borderlands psychically. So, I think how a lot of people experience Halloween, this is kind of just our lives, right? But with all of the events, I'm burnt out on it. I am worn out. Today I cooked I roasted a chicken. I made some nice little stuffing and sides and stuff. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to go work. And then it's nap time, baby. It's nap time. Mama needs a nap. So we have the person standing on a star, looking up at a star. So we know that the star archetype really has to do with goals, right? If you can think about like going outside at night, right? Or maybe you're standing at your window, gazing upwards at the beautiful sky and daydreaming about, what is it that I want to do with my life? What am I going to do next? What have I always been hoping to accomplish? And, how am I going to do that? Well, looking at this, it tells me that you have accomplished the goal. You have, gotten to that place that, you know, well, I don't want to say you've dominated the dang thing, but maybe you have, you know. You owned it. But I think you have. You've accomplished a major goal, but now you're already looking up to the next. What is the next thing for you, right? It's not, you're never a person that stays in one place for too long, right? Now, maybe where you live, right? Maybe you've found your home and you're putting down roots and you've been there for years and all of that. But as far as the flow of attention and activity and energies, both spent and brought in, internalized, yeah, these things don't stick around for very long, right? Life is ever moving, every aspect of it. There are no fixed states, and so we are on to the next thing. And yeah, I feel like this is going to be kind of the beginning of your year. And maybe that is aligned on purpose, or maybe it is that you are just coming to an end and getting things ready to start the next cycle. Now, it looks like we have maybe the name Fred, F-R-E-D, or maybe just Ed. First I saw just Ed, but then I saw the rest of it. It kind of does look like Fred, but either way, Fred or Ed, if you know one of those. We have a backwards S here, but it kind of looks like a money sign. Right here, you can see backwards S and then the money sign. And so I'm almost kind of feeling like there has been a little bit of, maybe there was a confrontation in the past about money. I almost am wondering if this is like a custody thing, like a child support thing. And it feels old. It feels like this is almost like ancient history. But I think it was the thing that caused kind of a lot of ill will. Maybe between you and your ex, or somebody you had a kid with, or maybe this is somebody within the family, like your sister and her baby daddy, or, you know, whoever. But I feel, you know, there was like a resentment, kind of just a feeling of tension between you and this person, and really ultimately the larger family as well being involved. But I think a lot of that has passed. I think that, you know, years have gone by and things have just kind of, you know, ended up resolving themselves, as they often do. And I feel like there is a sense of things kind of coming into a place of ease, and maybe even a little bit of fondness or friendship between you and this person. And like I said, it could be that, like, you know, your sister, who of course you take up for, you're gonna, you know, always protect your family, your kin, your siblings. And, you know, maybe they had a hard custody thing going on. It made you dislike their partner or their ex or whatever. And now all these years later, you know, the kids are grown and maybe the families are a little bit more chill with each other. And I could see you maybe being somebody that finds a way to have a bit of a friendship. You know, it's a Libra in my mind anyways. A Libra that's always going to either be the one that says hello, how you doing to the, you know, to the person that like shows up at the party. Nobody wants to talk to them. Everybody is like, ugh, why did they come? But there's gonna be that one person in the family, you Libra, that is a diplomat. You know, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna make sure nobody feels any type of way or unwelcome or, you know, alienated or bullied or, you know, whatever. On the other hand, you know, if they come for you in any way, a Libra's never gonna forget that. That's for sure. So, but I think all these years later, it feels like there is a friendship there. Now we also have, it looks like I'm thinking that this looks like a raccoon. You can kind of see the nose right there. That's what told me, oh, this is a raccoon. We have a raccoon and we have, it looks like a house. You can see kind of, it reminds me almost of a face as well with the eyes and the nose and the mouth. But it also looks like a tall house with like a little silly chimney on there. It kind of reminds me of like Dr. Seuss or something like this. So I do feel like, you know, there's a sense of well, the raccoon is very adaptable. That's whenever I see a raccoon, I'm like, okay. It reminds me of a documentary I watched about raccoons. And let me just tell you, I have a huge love for them. I've always loved them. I used to feed them when I lived in Minneapolis. They're a lot down by the Mississippi River. And I happen to live over by the U of M campus. And so I would feed the raccoons and squirrels and things. And they're really sweet. But I watched this documentary about how adaptable as a species they are. You know, they have found a way to live alongside human beings for, you know, millennia. But they also have figured out how to live both in the country and in the cities and flourish, really. So when I see the raccoon, I know this is a symbol of adaptability. Now, with the little house that also looks like a person, I feel like this is, well, somebody in your life who feels like home, you know, ultimately. And it feels like a masculine person. I almost feel like this could be dad. This could be maybe a partner, maybe even a child. But it feels like somebody who I imagine was older than you or is older than you. There is a sense of a lot of learning going on, right? Being shown how to do things. You know, taking on projects together, and just this kind of almost like, well, I just keep thinking in my head, I keep getting this vision of being in the garage, you know, dad's working on the car and you're standing there holding the flashlight, you know, and thinking, when is dinner? You know, I love being here with dad and I enjoy this, but well, I wonder when dinner's gonna be, you know? But I do. I think that there's such a strong bond there. And I think that you get a lot of your need for busyness and projects and learning and having things going on in your life from this person, because you grew up around somebody who was always doing something. And I'm sure your mother was as well. You know, I can imagine, you know, mom in the house doing stuff, working hard, you know, taking care of everybody as moms do. And also having a dad that not only, you know, is working, providing alongside mom, who's probably working as well, right? You know, but also there to do the things like showing you how to change your oil, or, you know, teaching you how to build a deck or something, you know. And so, you know, I feel like it's almost like you never have lived a life where you weren't busy with stuff. It would feel very strange if you just kind of sat around and did nothing all the time. I think that's just not in your character, really. And also we have, let's look right here. We have the number 17. And that seems so important for some reason. 17. 17. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to look over here next. We have the letter E, a large letter E. We have a goose next to it. We also have a boot. It looks like a cowboy boot. We have a person standing down here. Almost looks like they're praying. Their arms are lifted towards the sky. So I feel like you have or had a family member with an E name who maybe not very approachable, maybe even kind of emotionally unavailable, but very much a mother of all energy, because we have that goose. So it's got that mother goose energy, like Big Mama, right? Might have been Grandma, Baba, Nana, Noni, you know, Nono, or no, not Nono. Nono's usually a grandpa. But yeah, so Grandma, maybe Mom, maybe Great Grandma, but very kind of almost, I imagine, like a hard woman, right? Not uncaring, but maybe stern, maybe even kind of stoic a little bit. But I think somebody that it's a nice mixture of, you know, this very approachable father figure teaching you how to do stuff, always busy, you know, yeah, maybe not always happy, right? Maybe not always super jovial, but there to engage with. And then having this other very strong female energy, somebody who has transcended hardship after hardship. And I feel like you learn to be strong here, right? You learn to carry on here. And I'm seeing with the boots, I keep thinking that song, these boots are made for walking. Now, I don't think it's like this angry I'm leaving, but I think, yeah, you left. You went out in the world when you were, you know, 17, 18, 19 years old. Got your stuff packed up, went off to school, went off to war, I don't know, went off to the army or one of the militaries. You know, maybe went and found somebody to get married to, traveled, you know, whatever you did, you left home, okay? You left and you lived and you returned. Now, you maybe didn't come home to live with mom and dad, but I think you did end up back in the area, right? But you are somebody who is well lived, you're worldly, you know, you've been some places, you've seen some things, all of that, okay? Now, I do feel that there is a real sense of your faith being quite important lately. Not that I think that you've ever been super separated from it, but I feel like it didn't take priority, at least for a while, right? And I can see you kind of getting back into that place. And I think part of it is that you are feeling very in tune with the universe, right? The universe is really, really talking to you a lot lately. And so Yeah, I could see why that kind of draw to faith and really being active in your relationship with the greater great, right? Maybe going back to church or mosque or temple. Maybe you've been seeking out like a spiritual community or some kind of fellowship. And I think it's a great idea. It's a great thing. Just, obviously like all other things in life, you must be discerning, right? You have to remember, we're all just people. We're all just people. We all are just, on our path, and whatever our intentions might be, they're not always apparent, right? So you must be discerning. And be wary of those who are soliciting money from you. So, let's see. We're going to do our lucky numbers. Okay. And I'm just going to... Which one? It looks like 16. 16. We do 3 lucky numbers. Number 16. Oh, number 15. 16, 15, and 23. 16, 15, and 23. All right, and let's go ahead. We're going to take a look at our inner child oracle cards, and I'm just going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. These kind of punctuate the reading. Okay, here we go. We've been getting this card kind of often lately, actually. It's number 39. It says, "You are wanted. There is a home waiting within." There is a home waiting within. And, this card, every time I start to think about active imagination, if you have heard of that or not, I know a lot of people maybe have not, but it is something practiced in the Jungian system of psychology, psychotherapy, mysticism, spiritual alchemy. However you are experiencing Jung under, what circumstances or where your research is coming from. One of his most important things, in my opinion, innovations, or at least kind of coming up with a name and a practice for something that is age old. It's called active imagination, and this is kind of like, if you could imagine, like guided meditation mixed with maybe kind of like some daydreaming, imagining, and so you are using this interior space. If you could imagine your mind, your imagination as a room, and maybe that room looks like a laboratory, or maybe it looks like a big empty hall or something, and you start to populate this place with not only the things that maybe come to mind or the environment that comes to mind, but the scenarios and the involved people or or animals or plants or whatever kind of intelligences, and you kind of play out your ordeals here, or maybe you go there and ask for guidance or to be shown something. I know I use these spaces in a lot of different ways, but, one thing that I do really feel brings a lot of energy to my own magical work is, using this space as a place to commune with other kinds of intelligences, to be educated, to be kind of brought these spiritual downloads. So maybe worth looking into, you know, active imagination, getting some prompts or a little bit of, you know, they have some like kind of just real simple kind of, you know, steps as you are learning to enter these spaces in your mind. And I don't know, I think that it's a worthwhile endeavor. I have found it to be actually very useful for myself. And so, you know, I like to bring it up, especially when we get a card like that, because it's like calling out basically to us. So anyways, Libra, thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor for me to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to hit that, if you want to leave a comment, yes, if you want to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. I read all of the comments. I try to get back to as many as I can. Sometimes it takes me a few days, but I do read them for sure. So anyhow, again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a few days from now. Good night, good night, good night.